What is going on, guys? The NHL Betting Market video for January the 25th, 2021. Fat Guy. Only one marquee game on the docket, and I don't think the NHL could be any more upset with this matchup between the Ottawa Senators and the Vancouver Canucks, who have looked very poor to start this season. But this is going to be most likely one of the heaviest bet games of the season so far. I can't remember there being just one game in the NHL. So we already have 1,059 bets at 10
Generate
p.m.
bets.
Yeah, 10 p.m. Eastern time start. The Senators opened at plus 133 on the road in Vancouver. They have been bet down to plus 130. 42% of bets and 51% of the money has been placed on the Senators early. So just a tiny bit of exposure on the Senators, not a ton there on the money line. So let's take a look at the puck line. On the puck line, on the other hand, the line has moved in favor of the Senators from plus 1.5 at minus 171 up to minus 192. 8% of bets have been placed on the Senators puck line. However, 46% of the money has been bet on the Canucks at plus 171. So it's we can make an assumption here that the books have more money on the Sens on the money line or more exposure, but they have more exposure on the Canucks puck line. So ideally for them, the Canucks win by 1 is the best result.
Yes, and I think this is a good way to make an inference about the handle ratio between the money line and the puck line, because I mean, we can kind of infer that there's perhaps maybe almost around 30% money. I have to do some more we'd have to do some calculation. This is just a mental cursory glance, but there's probably 30 to 40% more money on the money line, I would think, at this juncture, considering there is like the exposure level on the Canucks is like quite a bit higher than it is on the Sens. Just because look, it's 51% of the money at plus 130 to 46% of the money at plus 171, right? But if there's way more money on the money, if there's more money on the money line than the puck line, then it all balances, right? And I would imagine that's where they are. Because think about it, do they really want to take a risk on a Sens Canucks game on a Monday night in one game? I think a guaranteed money is probably the best opportunity, and that's imagine what I think that they would be taking. That's another stat line I'm going to be interested in trying to hammer down is money line to puck line ratio, especially at closing, is probably going to be very, very similar for almost every game.
And then the OU for this game, it opened at 6 at minus 120. It's been bet up to 6.5 with juice though on the under at minus 110 at 6.5. 22% of bettors, however, 62% of the money has been placed on the under 6 or 6.5, depending on when people got it.
Yeah, that is interesting. Wonder if the Canucks 4-3 victory is it would be the one that would be the best for them. It does look that way, considering there is money on the under. I don't know though. Like that's the thing. What's the value of a point? What's the value of a goal? Is that half point worth 15 points of juice here, Big Rye?
That's a good question to ask, and something that we're gonna get a better grasp on as we have a larger sample of games. So far, I think there's only been like 70 something games in the NHL. There's been 84 games. So as we get a larger sample, we're going to get a better idea of the distribution of scores, at least for this season.
Well, because don't forget, we have to do it this way because it's more or less a live Monte Carlo simulation. What a Monte Carlo simulation is like you roll a bunch of dice or something of that nature, right? But the thing is, we can't roll dice with hockey games. We can just go off of what happens live where we have full complement of data. And that's realistically what we're doing, right? So we have to kind of wait and see because there's no way of simulating these games. This isn't exactly NHL 2020 or 2021, whatever year it is and whatever crappy game EA rolls out these days. But that's why you have to do it this way, unfortunately. And that's why note-taking is diligent. And thank God I have a diligent partner because believe you me, there are laps in judgment from the Fat Guy just in every which way and every evening. But that's why you have to be diligent, and it does take a lot of time, and it is difficult. But the value of a half goal, the value of a goal, that's what separates you from the rest is you understand what the true price of everything is at every juncture, and that way you can ascertain what's value. Because if you don't know, the thing is like, when people say, "Oh, that's a great buy," Well, if you don't know the true price of anything, how do you know that's a great buy? You know what I mean? Is anything in a retail store a great buy? No, it's a retail markup. Do you know what I mean? It's not actually a great buy. It might be a great buy comparatively, but it's not actually a great buy. What we're trying to do is we're trying to beat wholesale prices when we're being offered retail, if that makes any sense to anybody. Because that's what you have to do to win money in this game. And that's why it's so difficult. Because think about, when's the last time you came out, like, think of this. Next time you go to the grocery store to make a lateral movement, when's the last time that you came out with stuff that you could then sell for more money than what you bought it for there? Almost never. And that's how difficult it is to beat the books. Anyways, went on a rant. I think it was a good way to close it out, though.
Well, I was going to say, do you have the exact score numbers in front of you for NHL hockey?
I can absolutely grab those real quick.
Because it's something that we talked about, is something that we've been looking at specifically is exact scores in the NHL. And we kind of teased it when we were talking about it, but the books, it's better for the Canucks to win on the money line, but it's better for the Senators to cover the puck line. So a Vancouver Canucks win by 1 at 7 goals. So a 4-3 win for the Canucks is 11-1. So it's interesting for the Fat Guy and I, because we're trying to find out which we're taking a look at all three of these markets to decide what is the best result for the books. So because 62% of the money is on the under at 6 or 6.5, a total of 7 goals is the most likely result where the books would win, because they would only have to pay out 38% of the money at anywhere from -120 to -102, and they would get to take home that 62% wagered on the under. That also is true with the Canucks money line. Paying out 49% at -144 is better. Paying out the Sens 54% at -192 is better. So putting
51.
all three,
Okay.
putting all three of those markets together, we can make an assumption that a Canucks 4-3 win as of now is the best result for the books. So it's interesting for us. We've just been taking mental notes and tracking this for any games that we find interesting. And so this will be one of those ones that we're going to include on that docket, a Canucks 4-3 win. So keep that in mind as
Not that
you
we
watch
think
this game.
that that's going to happen. We have to preface that. It's 11-1. So what we're hoping is that this this derivative market, that it happens 1 in 10. Do you know what I mean? We're not asking for a lot, right? Is we're hoping that we're going to have positive expected value on that. Because like I said, we need a wholesale price on a retail item. And to give you an idea of how insane how indicative the exact score market is, as far as retail prices go, there is a 70% hold roughly.
Yeah,
which
70% markup on the price.
So think about that. That's spread across 39 different results, but that is massive. Don't forget, like a Super Bowl future is 23% over 32 different results, right? So it's just, I don't know, that's just a lot, right? So even when you find a hole, potentially, and this is just a potential hole, this is one of the very many ideas where we're going to try and find ways to attack the book. But it's they don't make it easy, right? And that's the whole point. But that also gives you hope, though. Why are they marking it up so bad? Well, because they just don't know either, right? So there are going to be spots, like if you bet every exact score like this, probably over the year, you probably would lose. However, though, if you do know exactly when to zig and exactly when to zag, you might have a slight amount of value, and there might be a little gold at the end of Big Rise Rainbow.
And that's a perfect way to end it. Good luck to you guys in the NHL betting market, January 25th, 2020.